If I got to take a big man and I have to start a team and build it around him, it'll be Joel Embiid for me.
I really struggle to feel super excited about this MVP.
When you look at the list of league MVPs over history, historically speaking, he would be the worst one we've had.
With the Denver Nuggets becoming the 2022-23 champions and Nikola Jokic becoming the Finals MVP, the Joker's once again proven himself to be one of the greatest players in all of basketball. Nikola Jokic managed to accomplish the only accolades missing on his resume, winning at the highest level of the NBA. Nikola Jokic once again proved his doubters wrong, so let's see what some of them said before the NBA Finals. When Jokic won his 2 MVP awards, the Nuggets ended their regular seasons as the 3rd and 6th seed respectively, and didn't manage to make more noise in the playoffs after that, getting eliminated in the Western Conference semifinals in the 2020-21 season and in the first round of the 2021-22 playoffs. This lack of success in the postseason raised some doubts about Jokic's abilities to lead his team to playoff success. NBA analyst Zach Lowe was one of the concerned people about this situation. At this point, everyone knows the ridiculous numbers Jokic can put up on a nightly basis. Playing alongside Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr. might improve his stats in certain areas. However, there are now expectations for the team to be the top seed in the Western Conference. This will hurt his chances when it comes to cast votes for the league's most valuable player. The Denver Nuggets finished the regular season as the top seed in the Western Conference, and despite Nikola Jokic not winning the regular season MVP award for the first time in 3 years, the 2022-23 campaign can be considered one of the most successful in Jokic's career. One of the key reasons why Nikola Jokic didn't end up winning the regular season MVP award was that many people dismissed Jokic's advanced analytics numbers, often calling out his game and the way they think that he chases stats. There are many people in the NBA world who think that Joel Embiid passes the eye test with a better grade than Jokic does. One of those people is NBA analyst Mike O'Connor, who was a firm believer that Joel Embiid deserved to win the 2022-23 regular season MVP award ahead of Jokic. Joel Embiid is going to win the scoring title and is a top 5 defensive player in the league, and isn't going to win MVP because another guy has a better VORP. Embiid this season has been a better player on a better team with a far better story than Jokic, but is going to lose convincingly because NBA media fetishizes a bunch of metrics that they can't even begin to explain. Yes, Jokic deserves to be right there, but at this point, I'm just assuming that the thing that's tipping the scale so heavily in his favor is the advanced numbers. And if that is true, that's a total embarrassment for the NBA media and would never happen in any other sport. Well, Joel Embiid ended up winning the regular season MVP award, and he proved O'Connor's case. But Jokic proved to be the better player in the playoffs, leading his team to a championship, while Embiid cried his way out of the playoffs. DeMarcus Cousins was one of the most dominant big men in the NBA during the 2010s, before suffering from serious injuries that ultimately ended his career. As a great big man, DeMarcus Cousins knows what it takes to become one of the best at your position. But even he thought that Nikola Jokic didn't deserve to win 3 straight MVP awards, something that's been accomplished by only Bill Russell, Wilt Chamberlain, and Larry Bird. I'm not okay with 3 MVPs in a row because then it becomes a conversation of, is this the best basketball player to ever touch a basketball? Cousins said while talking on the KG Certified talk show. I think we can all agree on that and say it's not. Not saying he can't be, not saying he doesn't deserve more down the road, but at this stage in his career, I'm not okay with saying that. He hasn't won anything. He hasn't been to a final. It's a lot of things still in play for that. And now we're in the conversation. At this point, he's the best center of all time with 3 in a row MVPs. We're putting him over the likes of Shaquille O'Neal, Hakeem Olajuwon, Tim Duncan, Wilt Chamberlain, and it's just like a tough conversation to have. Can we sit here and say right now today that Jokic is not only the best big to ever play, but the best basketball player ever to touch a ball with 3 MVPs in a row? And I'm not comfortable saying that. After the 2022-23 playoffs, we'll have to ask DeMarcus again on his thoughts about Jokic, who proved to the world that he's a real winner on the basketball court while being one of the best centers and players in general of all time. Patrick Beverley's a player that isn't afraid to publicly state his opinion on every topic available, no matter how controversial. Pat Bev always speaks his mind, even if he ends up sounding foolish. When asked about who he thinks is the best center in the NBA, Beverley gave an interesting answer to say the least. I have my personal intake of who I think the best 5-man is. Conversation was, Pat, you played with Cat. You played against Embiid. You played against Joker. Who do you think the best big man is? And I go, y'all not gonna like my answer. Cat. Beverley said on the Pat Bev pod. They were like, what? But when it comes to like offensively gifted players, it's Cat and it's James Harden, and I think I got Cat 1. I've been around this fucker. Well, unfortunately for Pat Bev's take, Cat's talent managed to take the Timberwolves to an 8th seed and a first-round gentleman sweep by Jokic's very own Denver Nuggets. In the series, Cat was totally outmatched by Jokic, as Nikola outperformed Towns in every statistical category in the series, ultimately proving who the better player is. Hopefully Pat Bev changed his mind after the series. NBA analyst Skip Bayless has made a living out of being a hater and an almost blinded Michael Jordan bandwagon. Skip never manages to underperform with his takes, always coming up with something crazy to say about the current-day NBA stars. In the series against the LA Lakers, Jokic managed to hit some pretty unorthodox shots, which resulted in destroying LA's hope for the playoffs. But more importantly, some hate from Skip himself. While everybody was impressed by how Jokic managed to hit those shots, Skip wasn't, and called Jokic the luckiest player in the world. I have never seen a man luck in as many shots as Joker did tonight. We used to call them greasing in shots. Tonight, Joker was one big tub of Crisco. Let's just leave this take alone. It's not worth talking about. Jimmy Butler is one of the NBA's most competitive players and was Jokic's main rival in the finals. In a game in the 2016 Olympics when Serbia and the US faced off against each other, Jokic hit Butler in the lip. The hit wasn't on purpose and Jimmy knows it, so he kept it cool. I still owe him. He busted my lip in the Olympics, so don't think I've forgotten about that. He did on a screen. He caught me with one of those chicken wings. It's okay. I don't forget though. Messed my swag up. Now I can't take no photos and the honeys are not gonna look at my pictures. This comment was said as a joke, but even if so, Jimmy didn't keep his word as the Miami Heat ultimately fell short to the Nuggets in 5 games. Kendrick Perkins was a mediocre player during his playing days, but when it comes to his career as an analyst, his playing career was infinitely better. Perkins has had some of the worst takes on television, but this one about Jokic was just wrong because it was straight up racist. When it comes down to guys winning MVP since 1990, it's only 3 guys that won the MVP that wasn't top 10 in scoring. Do you know who these 3 guys were? Steve Nash, Jokic, and Dirk Nowitzki. What do those guys have in common? I'll let it sit there and marinate. You think about it. This comment received a lot of hate because of the racist background, but also because of how delusional it was. With Jokic's all-time performances, even Kendrick Perkins has to admit he was wrong about Jokic's qualities. I've been in denial about Jokic and the Nuggets, but I must say that they are legit. Carry the hell on. Later, he even added some praise for the Nuggets big man, saying that he's the most skilled center ever. He's the most skilled center to ever touch the damn basketball, but we're to blame. And that's us as the media, us at the network ESPN, because we should do a better job of promoting and marketing him, and he should be on television. We shouldn't have to be waiting to the NBA Finals to be able to appreciate Jokic. We gotta do a better job, including myself, of actually marketing him. Hearing Perk speak glowingly of Jokic now is interesting considering the mass debate he sparked earlier this year when the Nuggets center was the favorite to win the league's regular season MVP award. Joel Embiid is one of the NBA's best centers alongside Nikola Jokic, but despite winning the MVP award in the 2022-23 season, Embiid managed to damage his legacy because of his acts off the court, often talking down on Jokic while he was getting praised by him. Embiid was often called out for publicly crying about the criteria behind the MVP award. The criteria does change. If we want to talk about the last 3 years since I've been in the running for it, the first year was that I didn't play enough games. Last year I came back, I played enough games, I led the league in scoring, and obviously Nikola deserved it and he won it. But then again, he won as a 6th seed in the West. And then this year I'm leading the league in scoring. I'm doing all of these things defensively. I should be making an all-defensive team too. I don't care, but every year it's something. And when you add analytics into it, which don't make sense. You can talk about analytics all you want, but when you got some guys in the league, the eye test tells you that they're not good defensively, but analytics tell you that they're the best defenders. That's when analytics don't make sense at all. I don't make the rules. I don't choose whatever criteria that they use, so it's really about whatever people's preferences are. Joel Embiid got his wish and won the MVP award, but again was outshined by Jokic, who won the championship and finals MVP, while Joel was crying again, this time about his lack of help. Nikola Jokic is not regarded as one of the NBA's better defenders. That's a fact. Some stats prove this case to be right, as analyst Kirk Goldsberry pointed out in the Zach Lowe podcast. The takeaway is this: compared to the other elite big men in the NBA, he's not great as a shot defender. He's giving a high percentage in the paint, and he's giving up more points defending layups than anyone in the player tracking era. 12.7 points per game on layups alone when contesting those shots. Does that mean I hate Nikola Jokic? No, I love Nikola Jokic. I just think it's a relevant data point at this part of the conversation. Hate him or love him, the Joker's on top, and in the playoffs he was pretty decent on defense, stepping his game up and becoming a reliable defender in the playoffs. Up to this point, Jokic was regarded as an amazing talent, but not one of the greatest ever because of his lack of success in the postseason. William C. Roden is a fan of Jokic, but even he remained questionable on Jokic's case as one of the greatest players in NBA history. He's a great player, you'd be foolish to draw any other conclusion, but his career must be allowed to play out before he can be put on Mount Everest. Where will he be in the next 7 years? How many NBA titles will he win? How many more MVPs? Will he overcome obstacles and maintain a high level of performance? By winning the 2022-23 NBA championship by leading the #1 seed in the West as a finals MVP, Jokic officially established himself as one of the greatest players in NBA history. As Jokic is just 28 years old, he's just entering his prime. So the best is yet to come for the Joker. Let's just hope his focus still remains on basketball so we get to see more and more of him in the future. Congratulations to the Denver Nuggets and Nikola Jokic on becoming the best team in the world.